Have you ever wondered if the life you're chasing is leading you closer to your destiny or further away? In a world consumed by desires, there exists a hidden truth, one that has been passed down through the prophets. A truth that whispers, this world is temporary, but the hereafter is eternal. Assalamu alaikum. Before we begin, let's take a moment to listen to the words of Allah.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا أيها النبي إنا أرسلناك شاهدا ومبشرا ونذيرا وداعيا إلى الله بإذنه وسراجا منيرا وبشر المؤمنين بأن لهم من الله فضلا كبيرا ولا تطع الكافرين والمنافقين ودع لهم وتوكل على الله وكفى بالله وكيلا.
It all began with Prophet Adam, the first human, the first to walk this earth, and the first prophet. The Kaaba, standing tall in Mecca today, is not just stone and mortar, it is a beacon, the oldest house of worship, first raised by Adam's hands, then lovingly rebuilt by Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail. But even this sacred place faced the tests of time and the trials of humanity. The great flood of Prophet Noah swept across the land, washing away cities, homes, and even the Kaaba itself. But just as the floodwaters receded, so did despair. By Allah's divine plan, the ruins of the Kaaba lay hidden beneath the sands, waiting until the footsteps of Ibrahim would once again echo in the desert. With unwavering faith, Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail laid its foundation once more, not just with their hands but with their hearts as a symbol of unity and devotion to the one true God. But as generations passed, the Kaaba became surrounded by idols, its true purpose fading into the background of trade and wealth. The light of Ibrahim's message dimmed under the weight of worldly distractions, until the arrival of a man who would reignite the flame, the final messenger, Prophet Muhammad. His story was about to change the course of history forever. Fast forward to the 7th century AD, in the heart of Mecca, under the vast expanse of a starry night, a child was born, destined to reshape the fabric of history. Muhammad entered this world as an orphan, yet his birth carried the weight of divine signs. His arrival was not ordinary, it was heralded by miracles that whispered to the heavens and earth alike. The idols that once filled the Kaaba collapsed, as if bowing to the truth that was yet to come. A brilliant star appeared over Medina, catching the attention of wise men. While in far-off Persia, the eternal flames of Zoroastrian temples extinguished, silent witnesses to a moment that would echo across generations. It was as if the universe itself paused, nature, kings, and shepherds alike sensing that a new dawn was approaching. This child, though born into the care of a humble family, carried the promise of something far greater. His light was subtle, yet powerful enough to pierce through the darkness of Jahiliyyah, the age of ignorance. For Amina, his mother, this was more than just the birth of a son, it was the birth of hope. And though he would never meet his father, Abdullah, the heavens seemed to declare, this child was never alone. For Allah's plan had already been set into motion, but long before the Prophet's mission began, the Kaaba faced threats. One of the most famous was from Abraha, the ruler of Yemen. Driven by jealousy, he sought to destroy the Kaaba with an army of 60,000 warriors and elephants, yet, just before reaching the gates of Mecca, something miraculous occurred. The elephants refused to move forward. Birds, carrying stones in their beaks, descended from the heavens and defeated the mighty army. This was not just a victory for Mecca, but a reminder that God's will prevails over all. Millennia earlier, in the quiet solitude of the Arabian desert, two figures stood side by side, a father and his son, their hands covered in the dust of labor. Prophet Ibrahim and his son Ismail, under the watchful gaze of the sun, answered a divine command that would shape the heart of Mecca forever. As the walls of the Kaaba rose, their voices lifted in unison, a simple yet profound plea that still lingers in the air around the sacred house: Our Lord, accept this from us. Indeed, you are the hearing, the knowing. Each stone carried the weight of faith, and with every prayer, the foundation of Tawheed, monotheism, was laid stronger than the bricks beneath their hands. But as time stretched forward, the clarity of Ibrahim's message began to blur. The purity of worship was clouded by forgetfulness. Statues and idols crept back, filling the sanctuary with silent witnesses to mankind's growing distance from the one true God. What once stood as a beacon of divine unity now echoed with the chants of idol worshippers. Yet, even in this darkness, the Kaaba stood firm, as if waiting for the return of one destined to restore its light. In the shadows of Mecca's mountains, a man often retreated from the noise of the world. Muhammad, known among his people as Al-Amin, the trustworthy, found solace in silence, away from the corruption that filled the city below. His heart, like the Kaaba itself, stood untouched by the idols that surrounded him. At the age of 40, under the veil of a starry sky, his steps led him to the familiar refuge of Hira, a cave perched high above the land. It was here, in the stillness of night, that the course of human history would change forever. As Muhammad sat immersed in reflection, the cave suddenly filled with an overwhelming presence. The angel Gabriel, appeared, his voice echoing with divine command, "Read, in the name of your Lord who created." The weight of revelation descended upon him, marking the beginning of prophethood. The words of the Quran etched themselves not only into the heart of Muhammad but into the fabric of the world. This was the start of a mission that would reignite the message of Ibrahim and restore the Kaaba to its rightful place as a sanctuary of Tawhid. As Muhammad began spreading the message of monotheism, he faced opposition from the Quraysh tribe. They boycotted the Muslims, driving them into isolation. But the light of Islam could not be extinguished. In times of hardship, revelations came as solace. Indeed, with hardship comes ease. Quran 94:6. One of the most extraordinary events in Islamic history is the night journey. One night, the Prophet was transported from the Kaaba to Al-Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem, and from there, ascended through the heavens. He met past prophets and, ultimately, stood in the presence of Allah. A divine gift emerged from this journey, the command for Muslims to pray 5 times a day. After years of struggle, the Prophet and his companions approached the gates of Mecca. There was no sense of pride, no thirst for vengeance, only humility. This was not a conquest of land, but of hearts. The people of Mecca, who once persecuted him, now stood before him, heads bowed. The Prophet raised his voice, echoing the forgiveness of Prophet Yusuf, "No blame will there be upon you today. May Allah forgive you, and He is the most merciful of the merciful." With mercy in his heart, the Prophet approached the Kaaba. One by one, the idols that filled its sacred walls were brought down, crumbling to dust beneath his staff. The words of Surah Al-Isra resonated, "Truth has come, and falsehood has departed." Indeed, falsehood is ever bound to depart. The Kaaba, restored as a house of monotheism, once again stood as a beacon of light. This moment was not just the end of an era of ignorance, but the dawn of unity and faith, a return to the legacy of Ibrahim. The sun blazed over the plain of Arafat, but the hearts of those gathered were calm, for they stood in the presence of Allah's messenger. This was not just a sermon, it was a final reminder, a message that would echo through generations to come. "O people, listen to my words." The voice of the Prophet carried across the crowd, reaching not only ears but souls. Each word was like a seed planted deep within the hearts of the believers, blooming into the fabric of Islamic values. "All mankind is from Adam and Eve," he continued. "No Arab has superiority over a non-Arab, and no non-Arab over an Arab except by piety and good action." In these words lay the foundation of justice and unity. A truth that transcended race, tribe, and status. Shortly after, the Prophet returned to his Lord. His mission complete, his legacy eternal. But his words did not fade, they live on in every prayer, every act of kindness, and every believer who upholds his message. The Kaaba stands not just as a structure of stone and mortar, but as a symbol of faith unwavering, a lighthouse guiding hearts across oceans, deserts, and generations. It calls to the rich and the poor, the strong and the weary, the seeker and the repentant. It reminds us that no matter how far we stray, the path to Allah is always open. Islam's story is one of resilience, forged through the fire of trials, yet softened by mercy and love. The journey of the Prophet was not one of ease, but his patience and trust in Allah turned darkness into light, doubt into certainty, and division into unity. Every stone of the Kaaba tells that story, a reminder that surrender to Allah brings the truest peace. This world is fleeting, a mere shadow, a temporary crossing. The Prophet taught us that life is but a bridge to the hereafter. Cross it, but do not anchor your heart to it. For the true destination, the eternal abode, lies beyond. And the righteous deeds we carry will light the path to Jannah. As the sun sets on this dunya, it rises on the akhirah. And in the quiet moments of reflection, beneath the vast sky of Allah's creation, we are reminded the Kaaba may reside in Mecca, but its light shines within every believer's heart, illuminating our way home. Let us walk this path with sincerity, guided by the words of the Prophet, "Be in this world as if you are a traveler or a stranger." For those who trust in Allah, the journey may be long, but the destination is everlasting peace. If this message touched your heart, share it with others. Let the light of knowledge spread. Subscribe for more stories of faith, history, and inspiration.